Hello and welcome to Curious Conversations. We are your hosts, Carly and Mandy, and today we are in for a really cool interview of a life that was completely changed in the blink of an eye.
That's right. I had a very interesting interview with Hope Holloway, who has quite a story to tell about a life changing accident that actually branched out with multiple curious aspects.
Yeah, and it's good. Um, Mandy, have you had a life-changing experience or, an accident, anything that kind of altered your life?
I have, and you want to say unfortunately, but then there's the fortunately because that can sort of really change it for the better. It can put you on a different path. But I had a couple of different sicknesses in my life that, it's way longer than I could get into here, but it certainly changed things for me and put me on a different path. Was enlightened by those situations. um Being sick can make you feel vulnerable, but it also can be humbling to where you've got that time to sit back, listen, reflect. So I've had those, but I will say also a quicker, shorter version is my husband was in a horrible truck wreck the first year we were married. Yeah, and he easily could have died in that. He was crushed, the whole truck was crushed all around him, and he had to be cut out with the jaws of life and life flighted, and it was a very traumatic experience. He went through a hip replacement, and I had to see him through that, and that's all like 1 year married. That's not the
Oh,
things you
wow.
set out for. Yeah, so that was huge for me, watching him go through that and being a part of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My dad was in a motorcycle accident and should not have been alive after the fact. I mean, he had vertebrae in his neck completely separated. It was like, how is his head even on? But
Oh gosh.
he was in a halo. It was definitely life changing. He was the moneymaker in the family, and so that was all a big deal. I would say that was definitely probably the biggest if we're talking about accidents, but like you, there have been so many little things that happen, that change the course that you're on. One that's a little bit lighter, still heavy for me, and it taught me a life lesson that probably has saved my life a few times and others' lives a few times. But when I was young and just a little dumber, I cell phones were kind of newish, and texting was the thing to do. And you'd get in the car and you think, I'm on a straight road, I'm just gonna shoot a little text. I ended up in the middle of the night traveling and hit something. And it was something big and it scared me. I thought I hit a human. It was a deer. But when I hit it, I mean, I could see like the imprint of the head in my windshield. There was blood everywhere. And until I found that deer, I thought I had hit a person while texting and driving. And that was it for me. It was like, okay, nope, that is not safe activity. So that was something that it kinda altered what I did, and I feel like that was a
Yeah.
good thing that may have made a difference for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like when you're spared those moments that could have been so much worse. But I mean that's already very traumatic to hit an animal, to hit anything. Wrecks are traumatic, and I'll say texting, it's tempting at times, and none of us are perfect with that, especially early on when we're learning and we haven't gotten used to that kind of. I mean, that was a transition. Um
Right.
but I think texting while driving is kind of like driving buzzed. You've got enough alcohol in you to where you're dangerous. You're not crazy, but you're not drunk, but
Yeah.
you're not conscious of all the ways you're going about handling the vehicle.
Yep. That's right. That's right. So if I get a text that I need to answer and I'm driving, I'm gonna call you. And I appreciate that about you. I'll call you all the time. I'm driving, and you the same
Yep.
with me. And it's like, I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Better
sometimes I'll
safe
have
than sorry.
to. That's right. Like I'll go through periods where I'll just put mine on silent while I'm driving because the temptation. We live in this world where we're like, oh, a ding, oh, a flash, you know, Pavlov dog thing, and we're just responding to every little, hey, I'm here. Don't you want to pay
Yep.
attention to me? And I'm like, oh, what is it? What is it? And it's like, see you at 5. Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's really
Uh-huh.
important.
That could have waited. Well, I'm so excited to share the interview that you did. It is just fascinating. I've listened to it twice, and it was great both times. But before we dive in, we want to share this week's curious dish. So this is the part of the show where we dish about the most curious thing that we've seen this week. And I know you've got a good one. Mine's not so great, but you kick us off with something fascinating.
Okay. Well, right now our whole property is sort of fascinating. We've got the everybody's talking about the, do you say cicadas or do you say cicadas?
I say cicadas.
I say cicadas. That's why we're so great together.
Oh, I love it.
It's the whole chocolate and peanut butter thing. Um, so actually both are correct. I did find out. But when I was growing up, I thought that katydid was just like the country saying for that particular bug or whatever. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
probably technically not a bug. Somebody will say that's not really a bug. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I thought that was like the little cute name. That's a whole other little critter. That's
Wait,
not, it's not the same.
really?
Yep. And so in seeing a picture, because I was like, is that really the same thing? I recognize the other thing that's the katydid. It's like a little slick looking, I don't know. You just have to look it up. It's not the same thing. And they make two different types of noise, but they're both what you associate with southern summer noises, you know,
Yep.
the hot summer nights, and you hear that sound. And I always love that sound. It's very comforting. So they sort of layer each other. But right now at our house, these suckers started coming out of the ground. And do you have them at your house?
I have yet to see one.
Okay. Oh my
But you're a
gosh.
little more out woodsy than I am. I'm in the middle of a big neighborhood. So you've got
Yeah.
some things at your house that I really enjoy, the woods and the noises and
Well, you
wildlife.
come over if you want to hear these because they are building, and the not, you know, everybody's been talking about these things are coming. It's like a 13-year period and a 17-year period.
Yeah.
And this is actually the first time that the two have came together.
Really?
So, yeah. So they sort of lined up with their cycle of coming up. And so that hasn't happened since 1803, I found out, which is
Really?
yep. So that's kind of crazy. It won't happen again until 2245 that they'll line up again.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
So
so I'm gonna have to hang out at your house or, we're doing a property flip. So it's in the middle of nowhere with woods all around. Maybe I can hang out there and catch them singing in sync. That would be awesome.
yeah, I kept wondering when they came up. I was like, oh my gosh, here they come, and I could see the holes in the ground, and I could hear what sounded like trickling water, like just when it's first starting to rain out in the woods. So I'm like hanging around and listening, and I get excited. Like I even have a necklace with one of these guys. I'm all about the summer. I love the summer sounds. I've got a little necklace that I've had it for a few years, and so I like these guys. But they were here the last go around, and it ended up sounding like a spaceship at our house. It was the
Oh, wow.
weirdest thing because it got so loud and so many of those. So right now it sounds like a distant spaceship. So it's a weird kind of eerie sound, but I started seeing those come from the trees. I'll have to share some pictures because their little look when they first come out is very different from their later look. And it looked like a raw worm or something. I mean, it was just
Ah,
not attractive.
no, no.
Yeah, they didn't have their little crunchy lip down yet. And you know, they get out of the shells. And we used to collect those when I was a kid, like off the
Right.
trees. It was like
Yes.
a little, I don't know, a little treasure. We just thought that was so neat.
Well, I can't wait to see your necklace.
Yeah.
And we'll share some pictures on social media. So check it
Yep.
out.
That sounds good. But okay, so what do you have for your curious dish?
Oh, mine is not naturey and it's a little kooky, but And I think honestly, this is probably not a new thing, but it's a new thing in my world. Um, when you go into a store and they are advertising a product and they will have a life-size cutout of, a celebrity. Um, I've taken pictures with them. Unfortunately, I'm that person. Um, I don't know if you knew this, but you can make those with any picture that you want to. You just send it in, and
Oh,
they will print those for you, and you can get them anywhere from 3 feet tall to 8 feet tall is the tallest that I found. So just
oh.
hear me out. I think Curious Conversations needs a Mandy and Carly cutout, 8 feet tall, and we just start plastering these things all over town. I think that would
Yes.
be amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, we're gonna have to work on that marketing technique, but
Yeah,
I am already on board, I can tell you.
yeah, yeah. We just need some businesses to let us come in, set up our display. Yeah, yeah, that would be some curious marketing.
Oh my gosh. So, I love the out of the box marketing, and I'm thinking, why would anybody say no? Just let
Yeah,
us stand there. We're not really there.
absolutely. Just let us stand there looking curious. It'll be great.
Yeah, you don't even have to feed us. Like, just we're gonna prop this here for a minute.
Yep, that's
Um,
right.
okay, I'm not hating that. QR code at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it
Okay.
would be great.
All right, that's the plan. But no, I did not know that. I just thought you got lucky. I'm still living in the past. I thought you got lucky and found one of those. My husband has a couple of, well, he's got one that's still standing. The other one kind of sort of fell apart. But those are hard to find, like the original, like sports, or this one's racing.
Yep,
These stand up figures. You used to see them like for movies at Blockbuster back in the day, something like that. Yep,
yep.
that's fun.
I bet some of those are worth money. Maybe
Yeah,
some big money.
I think so too. Ours will be, I can tell you that.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Well, we are going to jump into this interview, and I'm really excited to share it with our listeners. I think it's a story of hope, and it's by someone named Hope. So it's Hope by Hope, and I really enjoyed it. So I thank you, Mandy, for going out and grabbing this one. Yeah, let's listen.
Okay.
Wow, yeah. I don't think that another Halloween will go by that I don't think about hope.
I know, right? I mean, how weird is that? All the different things at that time of year, and the really, really good things and the really, really bad things. It's sort of like trying to balance the two.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has taken the negative and made them positive. She's turned everything to positive. And her outlook is encouraging. So that was a great interview.
I know. I really liked it, and I already knew a lot of her stuff, obviously, but it's just hearing it again, and it sounds cheesy, but it is a hopeful thing. It's funny
Yeah.
that she's born and given this name, and the things that she's went through. It's just, that's a whole other thing, is like what's in a name.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ooh, that's a conversation.
Yeah, we do this like almost every time.
I know.
One branches into something else, and I think, oh, let's talk about that. That's fun.
Yep. Well, to our listeners, we do like to talk to you guys. We definitely want to speak with you about your experiences in life and some of the things that you've gone through, that are curious and interesting. So if you've got something, drop us a line, hit us up on social media. But be sure to join us next week. We love doing this, so we're going to keep going. Thanks for listening.